Well, good morning, everybody. It's lovely to see you here. I'm glad you've made it all here. We have an uncertain future. One thing that we do know is that we need great buildings. And I think even more than that, we need better buildings than we've ever built before. Because a lot of the work we do, a lot of the leisure we do becomes more important to us as we live in a world that's more automized and more organized by AI and digital technologies. It's good. It takes a burden away from us. It leaves us to spend time with each other, to communicate, to collaborate, to be creative, and to invent a future for us on this planet. And one project that I'd like to talk about is the Edge, as was announced just now. But I'd like to give you a quick introduction to who we are. We are a London group of architects, about 160 of us, in a very creative studio in the city of London. But we work all over the world. We have small offices in various places, Tokyo, Singapore, Amsterdam, to name a few. We are starting a small company in the Kingdom as well. And we work from anywhere between Canada and Australia and anywhere in between. Some of our work is not so much intended to be iconic, but it often ends up being judged like that. And it comes out of a creative approach that we'd like to bring quality to cities. We'd like to bring aesthetic quality and functional quality and sustainable quality to cities that we work in. Every building turns out very differently from what we intended to do and what our clients have intended to do. We see more and more that it is the public spaces within buildings and the interface between buildings and their surroundings, their city, their social community life that makes for better projects. And the larger internal spaces in the architecture that we create are actually sometimes more important than the buildings in the skyline. This is an important kind of change in architecture that we've seen in the last 10, 15 years. The skyline is something you appreciate occasionally, but life from a pedestrian and from a city life perspective, as you see it, is actually a more important part of architecture. So we work in various places doing all sorts of buildings, hospitals, shopping malls, airports, mostly office space and mixed-use projects in various places. And one building that was at the beginning of this kind of thinking was the Edge in Amsterdam, which is an office building for Deloitte consultancy and 5 or 6 other tenants who all wanted to be in one building together to benefit from the synergy between the companies and to create a place where people would want to come to work. Would you believe it? Architecture helps people to want to come to work. It was also set out to be a very sustainable building from many perspectives, and every piece of the design was partly determined by orientation, by the position of the sun, by ventilation and heating and cooling strategies that brought the energy use of the building down dramatically to about 50%. The project uses about 70% less electricity than a high-end office building in Amsterdam. And that was a real massive achievement. And it's each piece of the design contributes to this goal. And besides that, the massing of the building was oriented around sunlight and daylight. Sunlight is bad, daylight is good. You all understand that picture. But mostly, for us, the project was to create a sense of place and a sense of community where people would want to come together, work together, talk to each other, collaborate, and almost form a community. So the space inside the building, the big atrium, was designed completely as a place not to leave ever again. And people walk in, they never make it up to the 5th floor to their desk. They stay in the space and work there and talk to each other. And the building facilitates, on the one hand, this kind of home, this creative place to collaborate and talk. On the other hand, it is a building that is measuring data from the users of the building, from the weather, from the changes in temperature and irradiation, and it measures everything that happens in the building, and the building responds very carefully to what is needed in different places. There are about 30,000 sensors in the building, and the data is analyzed continuously to accommodate for where people are, how they work, the amount of air and light they receive. And people can adjust their local comfort on their smartphone. But it's mostly a building that recognizes that people in the workplace are not all the same. Mysteriously, the workplace until about 10 years ago was designed for a gray person that would be repetitive. Good morning, Freddie. Nice of you to join us. Since the last 10 years, we've been looking at people as individuals. Everyone has different feelings about workspace, different requirements. And we can now tune, with the use of technology and with the design of the building, we can tune the workspace to people's activities, people's moods, people's characteristics. And this increases massively the statistics of the building. So after 10 years, we've totted up the results of this enterprise, and we found, as I said, energy costs down by about 70%. Heating and cooling energy is free because we use underground heating and cooling systems. The building is more or less carbon neutral, depending on how you calculate this. There are huge cost savings in terms of building management, because so much is understood out of the system. Some areas get cleaned more often than others. Energy is steered towards the right place within the building. And this costs more money to build initially, but it was found that the return of capital investments into sustainability, energy use, and into smart technology was recouped after about 8 years. So it's well worth investing more in buildings if you can get more quality out of them. More important than anything is that it increased people's well-being. There's 45% less absenteeism in the Edge in Amsterdam. Frankly, because it's a healthy place to be. The light is brilliant, the acoustics are beautiful, the air is good. People like to come there. If people enjoy being in a place, they'll feel better. It's not rocket science. Especially Deloitte found that the interest for the building and the interest of people wanting to be part of this kind of new typology meant that they got so many more letters of people asking for employment. On the whole, measured in very many different metrics, employee satisfaction went up. And it's become a strange notion to us these days that actually when we build cities and when we design buildings, we do this for people. We are not building skylines for the city. We're building skylines because people want to live in that city, want to be proud of their city. And in terms of office space and residential space and healthcare space, the focus has shifted more and more away from technology, away even from sustainability towards people's wellness and people's deepest feelings. And sometimes we study these issues in PLP labs. This is our small research organization. And we find such strong links between the materiality of buildings, between plants in buildings, between air quality in buildings, and people's direct well-being and their joy of life, almost. And life, we must conclude, is why we are all here. And that's the more enjoyable our life is, and healthier and happier, the happier we are. And this is to do with community, and this is to do with creating a place for people to come and meet and talk about the future. Thank you very much.